Hi guys, I'm Dan and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be having a look at what to feed your tarantula. So in today's video we're going to be looking at what I consider some of the basics when it comes to feeding juvenile and subadult to adult tarantulas. I'm assuming you're going to get one of them for your first tarantulas following from last week's video. I'm going to cover what feeders to use, how to feed a tarantula, and just the basics on how to keep feeders alive. In today's video there's going to be 3 feeders I'm going to recommend that can be purchased from any pet shop. I'll count them down with 3 being the worst and number 1 being the best in my opinion. Obviously everything in this video is my opinion. If you believe I've said something wrong, please let me know down in the comments and I'll be sure to respond to you. So without further ado, let's have a look at some tarantulas and some feedings. Okay guys, so here are the 3 feeders that I use at the moment. We'll go from number 1, 2 and 3, 3 being the worst, 2 being the most common one I use and number 1 being the absolute best feeder in my opinion. So number 1 is just simply mealworms. Now the reason these are number 3 and not higher on the list is because when you feed these to a tarantula, they tend to burrow and these can potentially eat your tarantula when they are molting. What I like to do with most of my feeders, especially for the juvenile, but if I'm feeding any tarantula a mealworm, what I like to do is get a secondary pair of tweezers, and just crush the head. This way the mealworm will no longer be able to burrow. It will still wriggle about, as you can see, very slightly, which is enough to tempt the tarantulas to eat it. I'm going to show you this now. So the mealworms I've got are for spiderlings and small juveniles. Now you can get mealworms in any sizes, which makes them ideal for any size tarantula, and they are so cheap and so easy to keep. I mean, all you have to do is put oats in a container, put the mealworms in, and make sure if any beetles appear, take the beetles out, as these will eat the rest of your mealworms. So we have a lively mealworm. So what I'm going to do, again, is crush the head, drop in the mealworm. Ooh. The mealworm is still wriggling about, but it's not burrowing, so that's a good sign. I'm not sure if this tarantula will eat because it's a brachypelma, and brachypelmas are notorious for being picky eaters. Nope, not interested. Right, let's try again without a brachypelma. So in this tiny box we've got a Ceratogyrus sanderi, same mealworm. As you can see, the mealworm is just slowly moving, which is just enough temptation for the tarantula. Sometimes you just have to be patient, as you can see. So now I'll show you what happens when you don't crush a mealworm's head. So down this hole we have a Panthobetus species lightning blue. Ooh, no, I messed that one up. So there we go. Got a very active mealworm here. So if I just put that there, nope, it's playing dead now. Let's try another one. It is trying to burrow, the substrate is packed down quite well. Well, this wasn't the best analogy, but as you can see, it is trying to burrow. I think we're going to get a bonus feeding clip here. Fascinating these are. It's so big for a spiderling. Again, this is a Panthobetus species lightning blue. Hello. So when it comes to mealworms, under no circumstances would I ever leave one in a tarantula's enclosure overnight, crushed head or not. So the pros and cons. Pros, so cheap, all different sizes, so easy to keep, and available for every species and size of tarantula. Cons, So annoying when they burrow because you've got to get them out really. Having to crush their head. The fact that they don't stay like a mealworm for very long, they do turn into beetles after about a month or so. But yeah, the only reason I don't rate them high is because the burrowing action and having to get them out. They can be a nightmare in some of the smaller enclosures to get out. So number 2, moving on to a type of feeder. Oh god. In this box are Locus, baby Locus. Now, I've started using Locus instead of crickets simply for the fact that crickets, there's 2 reasons. Crickets stink and they make so much noise during the late summer. And it can just be deafening at night time when you've got a box full of crickets all chirping. So that's one thing to consider. Now, I've switched to Locus because, well, one, because they're similar to crickets and many tarantulas eat them. There are a couple of downsides to Locus. One is that they're extremely fast and they can climb plastic very well. Downsides is they're a bit trickier to keep alive and they are fast and can jump, and you can easily have a couple dozen Locusts escape every time you open a box. But again, 100 times better than crickets. And you can get these in loads of different sizes as well, and they're stocked at every single pet shop you can imagine. So let's feed one to each tarantula. So let's see if my male Brachypelma hammeri will eat one. Oop, made me jump. Male Brachypelma hammeri has decided to take this piece of cork bark, flip it upside down. But yeah, like I say, so easy to keep. Sorry, not easy to keep. Slightly more difficult than crickets, but they don't come with the smell and the noise. Okay. So this one is dedicated to those of you who are getting a juvenile or subadult tarantula, and that is the all-time best feeder is dubia roaches. Now you can buy these in small packs at the pet shop. They come with about 5 or 6 in a box, and I tell you what, they are just the best feeders for juveniles. There's a couple of downsides, but we'll get to that in a minute. Dubia roaches. And these are so, I mean, it's a cockroach at the end of the day, so these are so easy to keep alive. They can't climb plastic, which is a bonus, unless they're having babies. The babies can climb plastic. But, yeah, I mean, cockroach is so easy to keep alive. It's a good meal for a juvenile or subadult tarantula. So you need to feed them probably once every 10 days. You can tell the difference between males and females because the males have the wings. All you need to do is provide bug food and some hydration. I use these bug balls, which you can get from the pet shop. I've not really seen the roaches interested in these. I do also provide a carrot probably once a week. Again, I don't really see them eating the carrot. There's small bits missing, but nothing major. So I'm going to show you how I feed a juvenile / adult tarantula a dubia roach. So in this tub we have a Phomictopus auratus, the Cuban bronze. Now I'm going to show you what happens when you don't crush the head of a dubia roach. The tarantula may come out and snatch it, but if I just place, they'll place them in the water dish. You can see the dubia roach is quite fast, and in a second it will try and burrow. What I like to do is get in these tight spaces, and you know they can be quite hard to get out. I don't think they would hurt. See what I mean? They're just a nightmare to. They just get in every single hole there is. Normally they go head first straight into a loose bit of substrate. As you can see, burrowed, and before you know it, the dubia roach is gone. So then you have to dig out the roach, which always isn't this isn't always this easy. So again, what you can do. Get another pair of tweezers, and this is harder with dubia roaches, so I'm going to need a bigger pair of tweezers. So again, just crush the head. And the dubia roach cannot. Still move about, but it won't burrow. You can get some small dubia roaches in a pack. So again, they come in lots of sizes. And I say for a juvenile tarantula, that is a big snack. If you don't want to tongue feed, which I don't recommend if you've only just got your tarantula, because you don't want to be put off if the tarantula decides to jump at the tongues. So what I recommend is crushing the head of the dubia roach and then placing it near the entrance of their burrow, so that will either be there or there, and the tarantula will definitely pick it up. Leave it overnight with a crushed head, come back. If the tarantula hasn't taken it, then remove the prey item. That's the same with everything. The only thing I wouldn't leave in a tank overnight is mealworms, because if they burrow, then you're never going to get them out. You'll never be able to find them. So yeah, dubia roaches, the #1 feeder. If there is anything else you would like to see me cover about getting your first tarantula, let me know down in the comments and I will do a follow-up video. I just wanted to leave this mini-series in 2 parts, but I am more than happy to add to it in the future. I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave any comments down below. And as always, I'll see you again next week. Thank you, goodbye.